This is a Dubai Eye 103.8 podcast.
Now, remember a little earlier on this month when the Chancellor of the Exchequer in the United Kingdom, Rishi Sunak, stood up in the House of Commons and talked about vouchers for people to eat out, supporting the economy, and also said this.
We need people feeling confident to buy, sell, renovate, move and improve. That will drive growth. That will create jobs. So, to catalyse the housing market and boost confidence, I have decided today to cut stamp duty. Right now, there is no stamp duty on transactions below £125,000.
Cue a number of ears pricking up here across the region as investors thought of the opportunities they're in. Well, they have started to pay dividends already. A housing market mini boom has gathered pace since Rishi Sunak announced that stamp duty holiday earlier this month, according to figures from property website Rightmove, reporting a 35% rise in the number of sales agreed in England compared with the same period last year in the 5 days after the Chancellor's announcement. All good and well. That's over in the UK. What's it got to do with us? Well, according to the team at Knight Frank, it is good for investors here in the region. Why so? Well, let's ask them at the moment, because joining us live on the line is a partner from Knight Frank and head of UK residential sales at Knight Frank Middle East, Henry Faun. Morning, Henry.
Good morning, Tom. Good morning, Richard. How are you?
Can we do a bit of a definition thing first? Because I think a lot of our listeners will go, what on earth is a stamp duty?
Excellent. Stamp duty is the transfer tax, similar to what we have actually in Dubai, but you pay it at one time upon completing your purchase of residential property in the UK.
So what did Rishi Sunak say earlier on this month? Has he done away with it completely, or is this a holiday?
It's a holiday. He's raised the threshold from what was starting at £125,000, and he's moved that all the way up to a starting point of £500,000 and above. This is particularly of interest as a windfall for both UK residents and those in the UAE, because it benefits from both sides here.
In terms of the benefits that you mentioned there, let's look at it from a Richard, Tom, a Henry, but also any of our listeners' point of view. Why is this going to be beneficial for investors based here in the region?
Yeah, Tom, great question there. It's going to be particularly beneficial because it's a saving here of your closing costs. The maximum amount that it could be up to if you were purchasing a £500,000 property or above would be a total of £15,000 saved in your pocket, Tom.
So you're getting more buying power, is that right?
Precisely that, Tom. It means that perhaps you can have a bit more power to negotiate, maybe pay a little bit more if you wanted to upgrade on the property you're looking at, or generally make some savings perhaps on your closing costs.
In terms of the length of this so-called tax holiday, have we been given an indication as to how long this is going to last?
Yes, so it was introduced immediately last week, and it's going to be running through until the 31st of March 2021.
And in terms of the benefits, I mean, is it specific to a certain amount of investment, a certain amount on a property, or is this across the board?
It's across the board, but it's only benefiting up to that £500,000 mark. Above that level, it'll be the same amount of tax as it has been previously.
Morning, Henry. Richard here. Quick question about the big investors, the big Gulf investors that have been snapping up particularly London property since the 1970s. Does this impact them at all? And I'm thinking about one of our top stories this morning, research from Invesco, the big fund manager who you'll know well, saying that actually Middle East sovereign wealth funds are going, quote, bargain hunting across Europe at the moment for real estate and infrastructure related assets because the prices have fallen. Does this only impact the Richard and Tom people buying an apartment, or does it impact the sovereign wealth funds, the big boys with billions to spend?
This particular change, Richard, good morning, is related to residential property only. Often sovereign wealth funds or otherwise may be attracted to larger portfolios of commercial real estate. So this is more of a residentially associated holiday here. However, if they were to purchase residential properties on an individual level, then yes, it would benefit them as well.
So if they buy 500 student apartments in Birmingham, it might help, but not if they're buying a tower block in Canary Wharf.
Potentially, yes, Richard. However, that may well be treated as a commercial property for stamp duty purposes, so it may be a completely separate calculation on that as well.
Tom bought an apartment in Manchester about 3 weeks ago. Is he going to get his money back? Because I bet he paid a few quid in stamp duty.
I'm very, very sad to say if you've already completed on that property, then sadly you won't. However, if it were, for example, a property you have purchased off-plan, historically, Tom, and it was coming to completion now or in the coming 3 months until the 31st of March 2021, you would benefit from it.
I fear there are no benefits available there.
Here's what you could have won, Tom.
Exactly.
How much does that cost you?
Oh, we'll have a little discussion about that one. Henry, since the announcement, what's the reaction been like in terms of interest that you and your team have seen here in the region and back in the UK?
It's been received very positively by both British expats in the Middle East and GCC nationals alike. We've actually seen a record high month both from our team here and our teams in London in terms of offers accepted for properties outside of London. And then inside of London, we actually had the new prospective buyers registering a record month as well. And this was in June. And so really fantastic.
These decisions were part and parcel from the British government, not just to restart the housing industry, the property industry back in the UK, but also to try and give a stimulus to the economy as a whole. Is it having that knock-on effect? It seems to be, given the figures that have come out of Rightmove over the last 24 hours.
Yes, correct. I think from our experience, we would support the figures that are coming from Rightmove, saying that there has been a significant surge in interest post-lockdown. We had many new prospective buyers registering with us during the 8-week UK lockdown, and they've now come out to start making offers. And the driver for that has perhaps been those that have had time to reflect upon their home. Maybe they've been working from home, and they're looking perhaps for somewhere else to live, maybe somewhere with a bit of outside space or a slightly different environment.
Henry, really appreciate your time this morning. It's Henry Faun, who's a partner at Knight Frank and head of UK residential sales at Knight Frank Middle East, joining us live on the line to give us his thoughts on the stamp duty holiday over in the UK.
You've been listening to a Dubai Eye 103.8 podcast. To enjoy lots more from Dubai Eye in the United Arab Emirates, just go to DubaiEye1038.com or find them wherever you normally get your podcasts.